Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc., and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc., and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc., and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels, so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program, and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching. And hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, and things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day. How goes it, family? How goes it? How goes it? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional evening. Hopefully, we're not having any technical difficulties right now. There we go. So, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. I'm going to get down to the brass tactics of it all. I will start with a very interesting story I was just reading before I went on live here today, and it's about Mr. Rick Ross and one of his sons. I don't mind people being great parents. I think if you're a parent, you're supposed to be the best parent that you can be. You go from there. But I love the fact that you have more and more parents, especially within the African American community, get the aspects of economics and passing down generational wealth, because too many generations have gone by having to start from scratch, start from zero. And in the United States of America, you can't play that game anymore, where You just hope for the best when they let them get an education, and not try to set up anything economically so they can play, be living paycheck to paycheck like the current parents and things of that nature. I love the people that are trying to break that generational economic curse, because too many families, especially within the African American community, have that, and that needs to be done with. All right, so everybody knows Rick Ross as being one of the greatest rappers ever. Everybody knows Rick Ross as being one of the greatest entrepreneurs ever. I mean, heck, even what was it? Coming to America 2, scenes of the house that he bought that used to be owned by former heavyweight champion boxer Evander Holyfield down there in Georgia. Scenes from the movie Coming to America were filmed at his house. But on Tuesday, this past week, yesterday, because today's Wednesday. It feels like today's Thursday or Friday, but anyways, he announced that for his 16-year-old son's birthday, 16-year-old, bear in mind, he wished his son on his 16-year birthday that he was going to open up a Wingstop franchise for him. And he says, now you're officially a boss. Keep going. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so obviously, he's 16 years old. It's not legally his yet, but he's showing his son how to be a boss and be an owner. Rick Ross owns 25 Wingstops in various locations. Okay, but the fact that he is setting his children up for generational wealth and have them work for it, he's not giving it to them, because just because it's given to you, owning any franchise, especially a fast food franchise, is some serious work. And obviously he's going to hold him up to a higher standard. So I got nothing but love and respect for that. So keep up the good work, Mr. Rick Ross. I just had to put that good news out there, because we don't celebrate enough good news. And in today's world, like I said, the media loves to focus on the negativity. And here we love to focus on the positivity. You want negativity? Turn on your news like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and you will think it's the end of the world. Guaranteed. Hands down. No argument whatsoever, family. So I'm just keeping it real on that aspect. All right. But anyways, so that is that. Wanted to talk about Rick Ross and all the great things that he's doing. And now we're going to move into the Bitcoin territory, because El Salvador in Central America is making money moves. So, as the old school players would say, game recognizes game, and El Salvador has not only been successful in making Bitcoin a legal tender, but El Salvador is doing something that most countries, I don't think, really have the cojones, since we're talking about a Hispanic country, the cojones to actually do. And it's giving one of the biggest corporations somewhat a run for their money. Okay. And I say a run for their money because of one specific reason. Everybody knows in the international world, immigration, it's utilized for various things. Most people just think it's for freedom of religion, uh, freedom from tyranny and all that good stuff. But everything, family, revolves around business, and immigration is not any exception to the business and whatnot. Because people that go to the U.S. or Canada or to Europe or Australia legally usually have to pay some sort of fee, or they go through some hell. But usually there's some sort of money involved. A lot of times, immigration is a big business in the United States of America, because for labor shortages, one, two, cheap labor, three, states that used to have a decent population, but they're actually losing population. State governments will do business with the federal government, will make deals with State Department, things of that nature, when it comes to refugee programs, things of that nature, from all over the world, to have people come populate their states. Because America's a very big country, but there's a lot of states that a lot of Americans do not want to live in. Wyoming, Idaho, North and South Dakota. Is there anything wrong with these states? No, but these are very, very big states with a very, very low population. Matter of fact, the state of Minnesota was losing population for a very, very long time. Now the state of Minnesota has the biggest Somalian population in the country. Is there anything wrong with that? No. But before I get back to El Salvador, I'm just saying, when refugees come to the United States, they actually get access to capital, access to education, access to housing, things of that nature. Is there anything wrong with that? I'm not going to put my 2 cents in on that because it is what it is. But anyways, I'm getting back to the meat and potatoes of this live today. But let me share this before I forget, because I know me, I will. If everything is not in order, I will forget something, hands down. So let me get this squared away real quick, and we will go from there. All right, give it a second. But this is interesting because I remember reading last week that in El Salvador, McDonald's actually started accepting Bitcoin payments. But as I was saying, in regards to one of the biggest corporations that the country of El Salvador is actually going to give a run for the money, is a corporation that's been around for a long, 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 long time. Especially, it was very big in the United States. It's even bigger now internationally because in the United States we live in the digital age, and in the digital age, you don't need to use these old school companies and whatnot that are having PayPal, having Bitcoin, things of that nature, having Zelle, having all these other different actual um, digital online streams to send your money and whatnot. It's just so easy. So you don't need an old platform like a Western Union. That's the major corporation that I'm talking about. I remember before there was a PayPal, there was a Western Union. I remember before there was a Cash App, there was a Western Union. And everybody and their mother, and I mean everybody and their mother, actually utilized Western Union on a regular basis to send money, to ensure that they especially if like a family member had an emergency and they needed access to money, access to capital, things of that nature, they would utilize Western Union. All right. And of course, let me see what the deal is. Apologies. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties, family. So please bear with me. Let me check this out. It's not that much I can do from my end. I just want to see if the video is still playing. And let's go back. Come on. There we go. All right. Sorry for any technical difficulties. I'll get back to what I was just saying. But anyways, company Western Union has been around for a long time. They've been around longer than PayPal, been around longer than Cash App. They've been around for a long time. They've always been a useful service for people to send their money. Especially, like I said, I remember I'm a child of the 80s. I remember growing up in the 90s. And I remember seeing the Western Union commercials and things of that nature. And that's how people would send money to family members if they needed access to it. You didn't have the online platforms like Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, et cetera, and so forth. All these different platforms that we have today. All right. However, from an international perspective, and this is the thing that matters the most, from an international perspective, a lot of these countries, one cannot send money to other people, unfortunately, to family members that they can't utilize Cash App, they can't utilize PayPal, they have to utilize Western Union. And it kind of baffles me in 2021 going into 2022 that still have a lot of countries that I guess there's certain strict rules and regulations that they don't allow people to utilize Cash App and PayPal. Because my thing is, and then I get it, because in certain countries, people don't have debit cards. They don't have the things that's required for one to even have a PayPal account or a Cash App account. So I get that. Everything's different. Not everything's the same. Maybe one day we'll get there, but not today. All right. But anyways, the article states that El Salvador's new Bitcoin wallets could cost Western Union. Now, these are projections. $400 million a year. All right, 400 million. So it's going to be able to cut into their profits. All right. In 2020, everybody knows that, because I'm getting back to immigration's a big business. A lot of reasons why countries don't mind sending their people, regardless of how they do it, whether it's legal or illegal. They know that a lot of these people have families back in the home country, so that allows that country to get access to more capital, because they know that the people, if they're working hard in the U.S. or working hard in Canada, working hard in Europe, Europe, then they're going to be able to send money back home. Therefore, those people can use that money to live, build businesses, whatever have you. Especially the smarter ones. I've heard many cases where people move to the U.S., make their money, go back to their home country, set up businesses, build real estate. They have the international commerce thing happening. That's how I look at it. It's just another way of looking at it like that. All right, but in 2020, El Salvador received nearly 6 billion in remittance, which accounted for about 23% of its gross domestic product. All right, now the president estimates that of El Salvador estimates that money services providers like Western Union and MoneyGram. I can't forget about MoneyGram. Will lose up to $4 million a year in commissions for remittance, thanks to the country's Bitcoin adoption. All right, now some of 70% of El Salvadorian population, as they say, Salvadorian population receives remittance payments on a yearly basis. And Jaime Garcia really hates, this is the article I'm reading, really hates using Western Union to send money home back to El Salvador. And I get it. He says, in this day and age, it is wild that I have to go to a physical Western Union office, give them actual cash, and then hand them another $25 on top of that before they would send my money over to El Salvador. It's crazy. Matter of fact, a person I know, she has family back in Panama, and she said it's the same thing. It's crazy, and she said certain instances there's corruption to the point where the money they say it was never sent, but somebody at that office there took it or something to that, and then she has to go through the whole process again. And I'm just like, in this day and age, it has to be a better way. If your country has the internet, if your country has electricity, there's got to be a better way. I'm not an expert in these matters, but it just has to be a better way. It'd be one thing if you're living in a war torn country, you don't have running water, you don't have electricity, you don't have the internet. But I know El Salvador does. I mean, heck, even I listen to content creators that are in West Africa, and if you look on their description lines of their videos, it'll say, please, thank you for watching. Please support the channel. They got their Cash Apps and they got their PayPals. So if a person living in Ghana can utilize Cash App and PayPal, I'm sure somebody in El Salvador should be able to do the same thing. I'm just saying. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert in these matters. But anyways, and the crazy thing is this gentleman, Jaime Garcia, actually lives in a Canadian province in Canada. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the province, but yeah, he fled El Salvador when he was 11 years old after rebels bombed his house. But he's like, the biggest issue is wiring cash abroad is less inconvenient on his end. It's more about what happens to his loved ones receiving the money. He stated they have to take a bus to get up. There are gangs that hang out around those offices. They know what people are going there for, and they basically rob them, said Garcia, who leads a team of researchers at SGI Canada Insurance. Since he last sent money home, Garcia told CNBC he now has the option to make an online payment via Western Union Hey family, I'm sorry I was having some technical difficulties. I don't even know where I stopped. I was talking about Western Union in regards to them you know, getting the run for their money because countries like El Salvador actually, developing different capabilities and things of that nature when it comes to cryptocurrency and utilizing it as a legal tender and things of that nature. But um but yeah, it's just I see with the whole, people having the opportunity in certain third world countries are getting robbed more and more because they're hang, the criminals know, hey, these people have cash on them. I mean, I just think that needs to become a thing of the past at the end of the day. I don't see why anyone would I don't see why anyone would want to have to deal with that kind of nonsense. And not only that, it just hurts. Not only hurts the family, but it hurts the economy. So I see with the president of El Salvador, whether good or for good or bad and whatnot, I see, and because it make people having a digital wallets, it just make it easier for them to get access to the money. Especially even the fact that they can just utilize that money, the cryptocurrency, to buy whatever they need to buy. I'm sure crypto cards are going to be coming about. So I think it's a to me, at the end of the day, I think it's a great thing. I'm all for it, and I'm just glad that glad it's going to be giving people a run for their money, things of that nature, and just go from there. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just what it is. So it's just like, honestly, keep up the great work and go from there, El Salvador. 'Cause if you're successful with this, with regards to having, cryptocurrency as your legal tender and being able to stop people if people stop utilizing Western Union, then you'll be able to help implement a lot of things for other countries, your neighbors, Mexico, Guatemala, um, Honduras, you know what I mean, Panama. The list goes on and on. Costa Rica, Nicaragua. All the countries that are next door to you and whatnot, and then throughout the third world. You'll just make it that much more feasible for all of them. So I say I commend you, and I just say keep up the good work. You know what I mean? I say keep up the good work and keep going and keep making the money moves that you guys have been making. You know what I mean? And go from there. So I'm going to see what happens when I do a relaunch. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the video. If it does, then I'll just have to do a All right, family. Sorry about that. Hopefully, we don't have any more freaking technical difficulties anymore. I think it's every time my computer has an update, I swear to God, this always happens. So, but anyways, as I was saying, and let me sure I share my video before anything else happens. All right, there we go. All right, but anyways, as I was saying, to cut down on certain crimes, I think that more and more countries, if they don't at least want to adopt a crypto method like El Salvador is doing, then they got to step their game up so that their citizens can get access to a Venmo, um, PayPal, a Cash App, etc., and so forth. It's like at least see how their country can meet those specific standards so that their people can have more and more digital accounts and things of that nature, because we are in the digital age. And I don't want to see any body having to deal with the old school fashion of Western Union of sending cash money, because the utilization of cash is just becoming a thing of the past. I can't put it any other way. It's becoming a thing of the past, and most people don't want to. Me having cash on me now, it's weird for me, and I live in the United States, so that's all I can say. That's all I can say. The article stated again about El Salvador: many in the 2.5 million Salvadorian diaspora send money to friends and families still living in El Salvador. Last year, they collectively transferred nearly $6 billion, or roughly 23% of the country's gross domestic product, and a chunk of that went to the middlemen facilitating these international transfers. They call it remittance, are one area where the status quo in our legacy financial system is terrible and extraordinarily high fees levied at populations that can ill afford them, stated Matt Hugan, Chief Investment Officer of Bitwise Asset Management. So it's just something to think about. They said it's one out Twitter saying, but Bitcoin really does fix this. And it does. Like, having a digital currency exchange and whatnot can fix these problems. And like I said, eh, everybody knows it won't be a successful overnight, but if there's any success to be had, then people will be all over it. And I just don't see, um, I don't see that big of a downside. Obviously, people trying to hack wallets and things of that nature, but we are in the digital age. I can't put it any other way. Because the article stated that one of the perks is offering $30 worth of free Bitcoin to every Salvadorian inside the country who signs up for the Chivo wallet. This is a specific wallet, the Chivo wallet. Okay. Is because it's actually built by Bu Kelly, who's a young tech savvy and budding authoritarian. He is also tethered his political faith to the country's Bitcoin experiment. So he is pulling out all the stops to make it work as far as the Chivo wallet goes. Remittance from abroad comprise nearly a quarter of El Salvador's GDP, and around 70% of the population receives them. All right. And the average monthly remittance transfer is about $195. And for households that receive remittance, it makes up 50% of their total income. So the funneling of cash from abroad back home to El Salvador is critical to the survival for most of the country. So that says a lot. You know what I mean? That says a lot. That means a lot right there. There's a lot of money to be made and to be had. And I just see Bitcoin becoming the norm, and I see cash being eliminated in a lot of countries. So that's just what it is, I, because of not only just gang issues and whatnot, but because people need money in an instant. People are tired of waiting for, especially Western Union, the normal banks, and things of that nature. This is why Bitcoin is just going to become more and more popular, and I really can't put it any other way. We're talking about El Salvador, but I have a funny feeling tomorrow we're going to be talking about Ghana. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Nigeria. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Haiti. We're going to be talking about Jamaica. We're going to be talking about Mexico. We're going to be talking about Brazil. I mean, the list is going to go on and on when it comes to Bitcoin. It's not going anywhere. It's not a facade. It's not going anywhere. Can't put it any other way, family. Okay. So just had to give my 2 cents on that. And last but not least, because like I said, the technical difficulties, when they happen, they always screw me up. So my apologies, family. My apologies. But this was a very interesting article. Men are giving up on college in 2021. I read that again. Men are giving up on college in 2021. Now, before I go further, if the video messed up, kudos to Rick Ross once again for giving his 16-year-old son a Wingstop, because Rick Ross owns about 25 Wingstops, and he gifted his son one and says, now you're a boss and now you got a lot to prove and things of that nature. So nothing but love and respect. And his son won't, because of his father building generational wealth, which is something that needs to be talked about more than anything else. His son will have an option of not having to go to college if he wants to be successful in business. All right. But as of September 9th, 2021, men are giving up on college. All right. I will read the article. Men are falling behind women in the pursuit of college education in West Virginia and across the United States of America. So we're not just pointing out a single state. The Wall Street Journal reported that the statistics from the National Student Clearinghouse showed that at the end of 2020 / in the 2021 academic year, women made up 59.5% of college students, an all-time high, and men 40.5%. And it used to be a big vice versa on that. So, kudos to women for going to college, getting a good education. I'm not knocking anybody. But anyways, in West Virginia, women comprise 57.6% of students at the state's 4-year and 2-year public institutions, while men make up 42.4%, according to statistics from the West Virginia Higher Education Policy Commission. The numbers here and across the country reflect a growing trend. The journal reports that the gap has been slowly widening lately. 10 years ago in West Virginia, 55.3% of the public colleges were women and 44.7% were men. So this is, like I said, this is interesting. And over the last decade, male enrollment has declined by 52% to 42%. Men are falling behind remarkably fast, the article states. But before I even go any further, I think a lot of men um, in today's world see college for what it is. If they're not going because they don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer, engineer, any sort of medical professional or IT professional, then they don't see why they need to go to school. Like it's like I said, college isn't for everybody. Just like being a skilled trades person is not for everybody. So my mindset in particular is that a lot of men are like, hey, I want to be a mechanic. I want to be a construction worker. I want to get a CDL. I can get in the IT industry by just getting the certifications and not getting a degree. Like I'll get a degree if I want to become a project manager or something to that effect. But I'm looking at the jobs of tomorrow, and I don't need to get into all this debt. You know, when I can just join the military, or I can, just pay a smaller fee to get myself a skilled trade. And then a lot of men, just like a lot of women are nowadays, so I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it, are opening up their own businesses and getting their own side hustles and things of that nature. They have plans for their monies. It's a different world we live in now. So that's why I wanted to talk about this article, because um there's a lot of careers of yesteryear going on. There's a lot of And a lot of colleges are just obsolete. I'm just going to I've said this before, I'll say it 1,000 times. A lot of them are obsolete. A lot of them are still, not all, but a lot of them are, and a lot of them are still teaching curriculums from the world of 20, 30 years ago, and not the world of today, of what the job market that people are facing, you know, um, the kind of lifestyle that most people want to live. It's like, and a lot of teachers can't teach people how to become entrepreneurs because they're not entrepreneurs. A lot of teachers can't teach people how to be financially savvy because they're not financially savvy. So, I mean, I listened to a young man that lives in Philadelphia, and he was in community college. He dropped out. He said it was boring. It didn't tickle his fancy. He got his real estate license, and he's selling houses now, and he's making more money. He's only 22 years old. He wants to start buying investment properties in the Philadelphia metro area. So he found his calling and whatnot. And he says he wants to learn skilled trades so he can work on his houses when he gets them, so he doesn't always have to ask people. He actually likes working with his hands more, but he likes the fact that he can make money off of real estate. So, and he's thinking about having an event business on the side as well. So you have more people that have more of an entrepreneurial mindset. Not that the sexiness of getting a college degree in 2020 and 2021 just kind of gone down the tubes for men. Maybe for women, it's more according to statistics, but I'm not going to make that assumption. But for a lot of men, it's not as appealing as it used to be 20 years ago. And this is coming from me. You know, we when I look at another man, I'm like, okay, well, what is his lifestyle like from an economic perspective? Is he really living life more on his terms, or is he living it on his boss's terms? Is he living in the area that he's excited about, or does he live a life that he's dreading? And we've seen a lot of cases where, people, men and women, will get the college degree, will work the 40 hours a week, get the career, and they're as miserable can be. That's something to take into consideration. All right. But anyways, the article stated that academics are starting to take notice of the shift and are beginning to study the implications. One one is financial. Research by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York from 2019 found that the average college graduate with just a bachelor's degree earned about $78,000 compared to $45,000 for an average worker with only a high school diploma. But some young men are not seeing the value of a diploma. Journal reported that on 18-year-old Hastings, Minnesota high school graduate Daniel Riles, who, despite a 3.5 GPA, skipped college for a $500 a week landscaping job, as well as side income selling music on a streaming service and investing in cryptocurrencies. Do you hear me now, people? Do you hear me now, people? I said the exact same thing in a sense in regards to people looking outside of the box, even having a good GPA average. But my man said, college is not for me. I like working outdoors, so I make $500 a week, um, landscaping, and I sell music on the side on a streaming service, and I'm investing in cryptocurrency. This is the mindset of the 2020, 2022 man. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And women. I'm not just gonna say men and women. You got a lot of women that are doing the same thing. But this is the mindset of the people coming out of high school nowadays. It's different. Heck, I'm a millennial, but I'm an older millennial, and I can say I didn't have this mindset. And we didn't have access to all this information back then. Well, we did. We just didn't need to read it in books and whatnot in regards to economies and things of that nature. But there's a reason why regular school bored the heck out of me, because it wasn't really talking about real life most of the time. And it wasn't even talking, and when it was always talking about it from an employee standpoint, never from an ownership standpoint, never from an investment standpoint. God bless all the teachers I've ever had. I'm thankful for you all, but I'm keeping it real in this aspect. I got to keep it real. My man says, I want to invest in cryptocurrency. I want to sell music on the side. Ding, ding, ding. Article states these are opportunities that weren't taught in high school that could be a lot more promising than getting a degree, Browse told the Journal. Once again, I'm not making this stuff up. That's the thing, is like everybody, like people can feel, I feel the same way. I feel the pain of and the mindset of the kids coming out of high school now, because if I was in high school, if I could go back to high school now, I would have did a lot of things differently if I knew then what I know now about the economy, about economics. The article states a more complicated issue is that the atmosphere on college campuses for young men. Female students in the U.S. benefit from a support system established decades ago, spanning a period when women struggled to gain a foothold on college campuses. Very few colleges are as attuned to the needs of young men, especially if they are white. Okay, well, um, I'm gonna leave race out of this one, but I will say that I get the camaraderie that is there on college campuses for, I guess, apparently, according to statistics, it's more for women. But my mindset is, if a young man really does not want to go to school, he doesn't want to go to school. There's nothing wrong with being a landscaper. There's nothing wrong with being a blue collar worker on any level. Heck, there's a lot of people that own landscaping companies, and they figured out the game in the area that they reside in, and they get a multitude of contracts, and they killing it, especially if they actually partners or they just own the company themselves. I see it all the time. All right. So the article states that colleges are reluctant to use resources to create support groups. I'm skipping this nonsense because I, I I think the article isn't hitting on the note that a lot of young men just don't want to go to school. A lot of young men look at the world, especially nowadays. But I think a lot of young men and women too, they look at the world differently when they leave high school. They have, we're talking about the generations that have access to Snapchat, Twitch, Facebook, um, Instagram, YouTube, all these other streaming services and podcast services, and they're listening to people, men and women, listening to people that are living the lifestyle that they want to live. They're saying, when I get out of high school, I want to be able to work on my own terms. Or if I want to get out of high school, I want to be in this career, excuse me, because of these specific reasons, not because of what they're teaching. They're listening to the podcasters more than they are the teachers. They're listening to the podcasters more than they are the music artists. They're listening to the podcasters and the entrepreneurs more than they are the politicians. That's what this article is missing in that aspect. And that's why I wanted to get my 2%. I mean, my perspective on that, because that's just, at the end of the day, this is real. Okay. This is what they're not talking about enough, in my personal opinion. Coming out of high school, I think by the time kids are 16, 17 years old, they have the opportunity now to truly see the lifestyle that they want to live. And a lot of them just don't want to be basic anymore. A lot of them want to be able to make money on their terms. So many want to be able to, whenever this freaking pandemic is over. So many were traveling abroad before, um, especially ones that, in their early 20s, and they don't have a family, they're not bogged down in a career. It's been so normal for Americans to travel abroad and to go to, live in other countries, and live with other people, stay in Airbnbs, make some money on the side while they're in a foreign country, and then come back to the United States and start all over again. I made a video about this Monday. How this is a big norm for a lot of millennials and whatnot. So, I mean, heck, to be honest with you, I didn't want to go straight to college when I took a they call it now a sabbatical. I just took 2 years off because my mindset was I wanted to make money. That because for me, when I was leaving high school, I saw certain people that were older than me that was always broke as a joke and bumming cigarettes, and I just didn't want that to be me. So when I got out of high school, my first 2 years, I worked 2 jobs, and I was saving my money, and I was living like I made $2 an hour. Sacrifices. And a lot of young people don't mind making those kind of sacrifices even to this day, but they still got a mind of a hustler and whatnot. They still got a mind of an entrepreneur, and that needs to be honed in more than just begging people to go to college. So I leave it at that. That's my 2 cents. El Salvador has a way forward in regards to the country as a whole being able to make money moves with Bitcoin. I think more countries are going to adopt the same mindset. I just think it's out of survival purposes, one, and two, it's out of growth purposes too. Because a country like El Salvador, if it becomes a great safe haven, this would be the first country to have this quote unquote legal tender when it comes to Bitcoin. So if it works, you might have more people who are Bitcoin billionaires move there. You might have more Bitcoin companies move there, and they might set up shop, and you never know, might be a quote unquote tax haven for and I've heard this on various other podcasts, could be a tax haven for people who invest heavily in Bitcoin. So it's just something to think about, family. This is, like I said, I'm making assumptions, predictions. You just never know, but I give kudos to the country for what they're doing, and I give kudos to the United States for allowing people to have Visa cards, so people can buy stuff in cryptocurrency, pay bills in cryptocurrency. So it's not going anywhere. It's going to continuously rise. And don't forget to sign up with Hill Harper's. Make sure I say this correctly, because there is a app for if you want to purchase Bitcoin off of African American owned company. It's known as the Black Wall Street. All right. So, matter of fact, I will show. Yep, I got the Black Wall Street. There it is. Yeah, I just started using it, so I only got $34 of Bitcoin. But yeah, the Black Wall Street. So definitely, because I usually utilize other platforms. But yeah, check out the Black Wall Street, Hill Harper. It's nice to see that African Americans are owning stuff in the crypto space, and it's nice. And I know, because everybody else is going to be owning it, and that's just the world we live in. All right. So do the great 3 free things, family. Like, share, and subscribe. This video went longer than I needed it to because of my technical issues, but hey, they can do what it do. We go from there. Greatly appreciate everybody and all the great things that everybody does. So, as I always say, family, make money moves, or you're gonna live broke like a fool. All right, take care, family. I'm out.